even though the battle is amazing, I'm part of it. I really, I will never spit on the battle. Battle is a game. Battle is entertainment. Battle is fun, but it's not it. Battle is just part of it. The education that I learned from dance is definitely the respect, and also how can I honor the people that have taught me or given me opportunity to grow.
Stay tuned, stay curious. Enculturation Podcast. Kapela, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming here. You came a long way to be with me and the cows in the hills and the boonies.
Yes. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very happy and honored to be here today.
Yeah, as I mentioned, we've had a lot of guests as far as the dance world from New York and even Chicago and the Bay Area. So it's great to have some representation from France and also some Europe because it's such a big scene over there.
Yeah. I watched some snippet of it on Instagram. I saw the one with Link, with Stretch, with Ijo, and I was very inspired by their words, as they already inspired me in many ways because we are friends, we know each other, and when you asked me to do it, I was like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I am. So yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so I saw in one of your other interviews that your parents are from Senegal initially, and they came over to France as immigrants. So does that mean you were born in France?
Yeah, I'm born and raised in France. Both of my parents came, let's say, late 70s, beginning of the 80s in France.
Yeah, so what was it like growing up in France? Because I was reading the other day that there's 9 out of 10 Africans over there experience racism. So what was it like growing up in France?
For me, growing up in France, it was, let's say, not so challenging, but challenging. Again, my parents came from Senegal to Paris to have a better living. It's a different lifestyle when you live and born in Senegal than when you born in France. So when because I'm born in 85, I think I had the best education from my parents, the Senegalese one, adapted to the French one, because of course you have to adapt the education that you have from the where you come from and where you are now. So before to talk about racism, I would say adaptation. I think my parents, they give me the best mix of Senegalese and French education. I wasn't aware of what racism was until I was in my majority, around 18, I guess. Of course, I faced some challenges. A lot of events happened to me where I was like, whoa, it's really my color that is bothering some people more than the person that I am. And I didn't thought it was just me, because my parents also, my dad especially, had some situation with work sometime, or with some people where racism was there. But I think I felt it just when I started to go really outside of France, than France itself, especially Russia, let's say. In France, it wasn't clear yet for me when I was 18, but when I started travel, went to country where they never saw black people before, for me was the moment I realized, okay, I think in here I'm feeling the racism at this higher level, I would say.
Was it like an overt action, or was it just commentary, or you just feel it in someone's vibe?
Oh, the energy. They were not used to see black people, I guess, there. Like, just the way I dress, I guess, was already disturbing. And of course, they not seeing black people in street, the look, the energy. Plus, they don't speak English, but I could understand through their body language that they were very bothered, I guess, and also surprised. I think you can be surprised in a good way. You can be smiley, inviting, welcoming people, but they were not really welcoming. And I asked question. It was not with the dancer, it was more in the streets, asking people, why is it like this? So some answer was, they're not used to see you here. They see you on TV, for example, or superstars, so they might think you're a superstar. I think, the kids, the reaction of kids, they get afraid. They be like showing a certain face, like, oh, is he gonna bite me? Is he gonna touch me? So all type of reaction got me think, okay, racism is real in here.
How did you find a way to be at peace amongst all this?
I think I just accept the way people see a black person. When I say accept, sometimes it's tough to accept because I always say you should see the human before to see the color. But I accept people's story, and I try to not pay attention on all those energies, because I believe if you really get to know a person, not the color, you're not going to feel any type of racism or rejection, because a lot of people, especially in those countries, they really don't know why they feel like this. If you ask the question, why you feel like this when you see a black person, they're probably going to say, I don't know, because I never saw it. But I'm like, yo, are you going to be afraid if you never saw a dog for the first time, if the dog is nice with you? Even if it's an animal, but it's the energy. So if the person have a nice energy, welcoming, why would you be afraid of this person? It should never be about the color. So I think I just put my energy as a priority. I don't try to impress or to tell people don't be racist. I just don't pay attention of it, and I'm good.
Yeah, was your experience different when you entered the dance scenes, or was it more of the same as far as like the general vibes you got?
Very different. The dancing was more welcoming. I think they know they were part of a black culture, and they were very embracing, very welcoming, very. The heart was warm. I think I liked the fact that they were very different, and they were giving me insurance. They're like, don't worry, we got you. We're going to show them how it's supposed to be, how it's supposed to look like us. If they don't know, we are the one that brings you here. We want our country to change, to evolve. So we're going to show them the best example. So every time things would happen, they would really take my side. Like I have an anecdote when I was once again in Russia, in Moscow. We're eating at the McDonald's with friends. So a promoter was there too with us. And a guy just came at the window and he looked at me and spit on the window, like facing the window and spit at me. And I was shocked. I was like, whoa, what's that? So the guy went outside. They almost fight. But he told me, again, this is another proof that some people have a very bad mentality and it should never be like this, because you're here eating with us. Why does he feel offended by you being here? So I like the fact that he stood up and he was like, I'm going to change ways by telling them it's not right to do this.
Yeah, wow, that's really cool to see that, because I know that from even my experience, like racism can look different in other countries, or from country to country in general. Like it can look a certain way in America, but it may look really different in France, right?
Yeah, it's varied in France too. I mean, it's there. I feel it in different way in France. You know, just let's say with jobs, for example, opportunities. People would give opportunities to a certain, I don't want to say color, but a certain type of people, and they'll be judging you because they probably had bad experience with some black people, and they would put everybody in the same bag. And sometimes I'm like, it should never be like this. It should always be, look at the person first. Try to see the heart, which is sometimes hard, but which is the thing normally. You should see the person through his energy, his heart, his intention, his positivity, his, all of this to me.
Have you go back to Senegal since coming here?
Yeah. Last time was 2019.
Yeah. When you go back to Senegal, do you feel welcome there? Because, for example, depending on the countries that you're from, some people from the homeland could be like, oh, he left, so he made it, and now like he's better than us or something like that. Like, is there any of that vibe, or it's like, how is it when you go back?
Yeah, I feel very welcome. Because my dad is born in a village. It's called Casamance, which is not just in Dakar, the center of Senegal. And his part of his family live also in the center, so it's mixed. My mom both also in the center and also in the village. So every time I'm landing in Senegal, I'm going to see my family. But then when I'm there, I never feel any type of way like you left or you don't belong here. They do see me the way I dress, the way I also talk, because I talk in a French way, but I never felt any rejection or not welcoming. They always treat me as a brother, as a friend, as a family. So yeah, it's always a pleasure to go back there.
Yeah, the idea of country and origin is interesting to me because in America, when someone says, "Oh, go back to your country," and I'm like, that doesn't make sense from the perspective of this place because what is the city that's next to us? San Francisco. That's not an English word, or Los Angeles. That's not an English word, right? But these are big cities,
Yeah.
or even Utah. That's a native word, So
Yeah.
what do you mean go back to your country?
Yeah, a lot of people say this also. Like we have a part in France called the extreme right parts, and these are the ones that want to keep the French. How can I say the French stay in France? Like if you're a French person, because the definition of them, a French should be a white person, they should just stay in France and like, look, I'm born in France, so I'm French. But when they see me, some people would say, go back to your country, because for them, my country is Africa. But what if I'm a French guy, I'm born in France. So go back where? To where I'm born, which is here. So it's a lot of sometimes misunderstandings, a lot of separation, where people think, I was saying this yesterday, imagine in America would be only Americans, in France would be only French, in Africa would be only African. I don't think the world would be the way it is today. I think the world it's a mix today. You have to be mixed. You have to be inspired by different culture, by different people meeting, trying to create this new thing that sometimes we don't know what it's going to be, but it have to happen. I don't think it's because French staying with French, like those white people stay with white, then the world would be better, would be different. I think it was meant to be mixed at first. That's why we're here,
Yeah, I think if more people traveled more, it would paint a lot of understanding on why some people are different but have the same goals. So, for example, I'm Vietnamese American, right? There's a certain parts in Vietnam where the people are so poor that if you ask them, hey, well, what is this dog's name? What is this cat's name? They're gonna be like, it doesn't have a name. We don't name our animals because like they're it's not all places, but in some places they're so poor that like, why are you gonna name an animal
right
the same thing as a human, right?
Exactly.
Well, over here, Americans are like, yeah, we love our pets.
Probably part of the culture, probably.
Yeah. So it's I think it's important to travel and kind of get those experiences and just recognize that even though there's a different value system, that doesn't mean this person is any less human.
Exactly. I think in every country there is cultures, there is habits, there is tradition, and it's how you adapt to this. Again, my parents come from Africa. They have that African culture, but I also learned the French culture. And I got educated by both culture, the African and the French one. So I think I understand how some people feel when they say, you're coming to my country and you want to kind of put your culture and your roots in our culture. Yeah, but that's not what everybody try to do. Some people try to really come in a country, learn and adapt what they have from home to what they're learning from this country they live now. So yeah, it's this. How can you respect a culture that is not yours, putting yours, not to put yours on top of it? It's like, let's mix it. Let's find a way to mix both and to move forward.
Yeah, when you say Senegal education, what do you mean? So how I hear it is, again, I'm Vietnamese American, right? So my Vietnamese education has taught me to be like very, very community oriented, very family oriented, right? Whereas it comes with a sacrifice of individuality, while my American education has like really honed in on me being an individual versus like a community person, So like, can you speak more about what the French education or the Senegal education is?
For example, the Senegal education is really based on knowing the value of where you're from, who you belong to, your family member, the tree, your history, your own history. Like, get to know everybody, get to know a reason why. Like, I think from my dad especially, he really wanted me to know where I'm from. And of course, I'm born in France, but he's from Senegal, my mom too. So it was very important for me at the early age to get there and to know who's my grandfather, who's my cousins, where I belong to. And also religion. I'm born and raised as a Muslim. But the way I get educated with this is in a free way. It's never been in a closed way. My parents never educate me to to just think that way. They made sure that I understood the meaning of having a religion which is in my heart, and then if I follow it and I believe, everything is going to be the way they taught me. And French was more like, see, you have education at home and you have education outside. When you go to school, when you meet friends, when you start work. And I look at my dad again, when in his beginning he tried to get some work. He couldn't just behave the way he was doing in Africa. He had to, let's say, look a lot, observe, listen, before to say, oh, this is how I do. Because some people would definitely don't agree with the system because they have different tradition at home. And they sometimes want to put it first on the table. My dad was never like this. He was like, well, if I'm a guest, because I'm a guest in France, let me behave like a guest. Doesn't mean I'm going to say yes to everything, but I'm going to listen. I'm going to try to understand, and I will adapt to it. So then it works together. So I think for me is this, how outside I would watch, I would see where I am, how I want to do things. And once I found out, okay, I go. Yeah.
Yeah. What made your parents pick France of all places?
Good question. I think my dad had a friend back then, and that told him, yo, if you want to have a not better life, but a different life, try to go outside of Senegal. It's going to be difficult in the beginning, but you will help with some work. Your family at home means my grandmother and some of my cousin, my uncle, and all that was in Africa. It was very difficult knowing how they got to go from Senegal to France. Because imagine in the 70s how an immigrant would travel from Senegal to France. Like, it was no flight, it was no Uber. Trust me, it was just you.
Yeah, no smartphone, no GPS.
No, he was like you
No
going through some stuff. A lot of people die, honestly, on that way. He had to go through the desert. He had to go through buses, walk, fake ID. Like, he stopped in Spain waiting, a boat full of different immigrants from different countries, because it was not just Senegalese, it's like people from Mali, from Ivory Coast, from Congo that want to have a better life. So they travel as immigrants to a country like France or Spain or Italy, which was very hard, very hard. I remember him telling me stories about once he get to Spain, a lot of police started check, like, okay, why are you here? Where's your paper? Do you have any ID, any passport? And they didn't have it, so they had to fake papers. Knowing someone on the way that tell them, okay, if you just put a picture here, you just got to sign, and you make sure you repeat the same sentence. Your name, your date, when you birth, and the reason why you go. And he was always saying the same sentence. How we got there, I don't know. It's many years ago. But what I remember is he had to come by himself, check, go back to take my mom. So imagine the whole trip to go from Senegal to France, and then coming back with my mom and stay forever.
Yeah, I don't know what your parents went through, but I can relate to it from my mom's perspective, right? My parents, because if you ask me right now, hey, Vin, go to this country where you don't know the language, but you can't bring your smartphone with you, are we like, I don't know what to do?
Of course. To me, what they did, I don't think I can do it. What they've been through, I don't think I would have survived, honestly. Like being in a boat from, let's say, a country like Congo, from Congo to Morocco, from Morocco to Spain. Man, in boat, you like maybe 50 people that you don't know. And it's night. It's you don't even know if you're going to make it. And once you're there, you realize you're not arrived yet, but you did some kilometers, so you're far from home. So you're not going to go back now, because your mission is to arrive in a country to have a better life, to offer to your future kid and also your family that is waiting. So they've been through a lot. And another thing, when my father came the second time with my mom, he didn't came just them two. He took his nephew and niece, so he came with the three. Two was his nephew and one was a niece, so 2 boys and 1 girl. When I'm born in 85, because I'm born in 85, they were already there. I thought they were, not that I thought, I called them my brother and sister, but they're my cousin. So my parents, they raised them too, as their children. to also help their family at home. This was a way to try to see life in a different perspective due to the system that was in Africa back then. It was very difficult to have a living, and I think the intention was, how can I help? What can I do to help people at home?
Yeah, so the commonality that I've seen with a lot of immigrant families or immigrant parents is there's a strong urgency, rightfully so, for survival, right? So with survival, usually that comes at the cost of exploring the arts, right? So you're obviously an artist, and your parents were immigrants, right? So was that a struggle to be like, hey, Dad, I'm going to be a dancer, you know?
Yeah, it was not a struggle because, again, in Africa, we do have that way of celebrating things, which is very natural to play music. My dad was playing an instrument.
Okay, so he's a musician.
Not really a musician, but he liked that. He would never say I'm a musician. It was just like when you like to read books or to watch movie or it was just his fun time. And I used to hear that song all the time while I was a kid. So dancing was also natural in our house. It was never dance now. We would dance for no reason. We had no specific time or things to start dancing. If music were playing, our body would just respond. And when I decided to be an artist, of course, for parents that doesn't know this world, the worry was there. But I think deep inside they kind of knew that if he choose that, he's gonna face challenge. So a parent is worried about how you're gonna get money, how you're gonna have a living. But at the end, they knew, like, if I choose to do this, I will go full out and I'm going to make it.
How did you find the dance culture? Was it through certain events, or did someone bring you in?
Yeah, different story for me. I was in love with the girl back then. I think but I was young, 13, 14. I was playing soccer before. And I remember we lost a match, and that match just got me very sad. And I was like, I'm going to stop. I need something else. So a friend of mine was throwing it like a jam, we would call this, in a community center. I went there and I'm watching at this girl like this young kid, but I was very shy back then. I was never going to engage with her, but I was very like focused looking at her. And my friend was like, go talk to her. I was like, no, but then do something, because you're not going to stare at people like this. And he was just like, okay, let me teach you some stuff. And it was breakdancing back then. He started teaching me my first 6 steps, but my focus was really trying to impress her. She did not look at me at all that day, but I kept going. It was 2 times in a week, and I think I find something else. I find this other passion that started growing me. The dance came very, very honestly because of me trying to impress her. And it did not happen because we didn't really have any interaction or talk or exchange. But I was like, I got to impress her. She got to look at me. She got to see me, because I want to have that exchange with her. I want to do something. But yeah, that was how I get introduced to dance. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the theme of education, remember how we talked about France has education, Senegal has education. What's the education that you learned from dance?
The education that I learned from dance is definitely the respect. Respect, and also how can I honor the people that have taught me or given me opportunity to grow. The biggest for me is 100% when Babson, God bless his soul, he really gave me the word of, man, I'm ready to give you everything. Anything you need from me, anything I can share with you, let me know, I will do it. Because I really feel you have what it takes to share a lot in this culture. So I think to acknowledge this coming from him was definitely like, I see it just like I get educated at home when my parents was teaching me stuff that I could do and not to do. It was the same in dance when Babson was opening doors and giving me those knowledge.
Yeah, in addition to Babson, who were some of the people that gave you this knowledge?
Babson, man, the greatest. Babson, the one and only Babson Ousmane Baba Si. Yeah, originally from Mali, and Senegal, but born in France. He started dancing just like I did too, breakdancing, and then slowly went to hip hop and house. From the crew, wanted Posse. He's the second generation. And I met him back in 2003. He was in Châtelet-Léal. Châtelet-Léal, it was a call-out happened between Dead Son and Benji. And we had that connection directly, me and him. He looked at me, I looked at him. I was wearing a jersey from Senegal. And he looked at me like, yo, you have that jersey? You from Senegal? Yeah, I'm from Senegal. I knew who he was, but he didn't know who I was. And I tried to act not too like a fan, but I was hiding. I was very proud, like, yeah. But inside, I was like, damn, I'm talking to Babson. Damn. And funny story again, for 2003 to 2005-06, I would see him few times in few events and parties as well. And some people would see me physically and they thought I was him. I remember me going in a party and the guy at the door, the bouncer, was like, oh, you Babson? I said yes. I don't know why I said yes, but I said yes. He let me in. And okay, it was easy for me. Like, this is how it feels to be Babson. People recognize you, you go straight in. I went to another party. The guy was like, oh, let him in. It's Babson. But I didn't know that Babson would come that day at that party. So he like a friend was like, do you know Babson is here? Oh, really? It's like, yo, he is here. So it means the bouncer think there's two Babson now. How are you going to do? I'm like, I don't know. So I found a way. I went out and he heard about that story. Later on, when we talked about it, we're laughing. It was like, yo, you remember you used to say my name to get in clubs? I was like, yeah, I know how it feels to be you. So now we had that bond, man. We had that bond and I'm so grateful for him. I think if it wasn't for Babson, I wouldn't be here today. You know, he really showed me what a fatherhood in dance, brotherhood in dance is, you know. I was his confidant. I was his best friend. I was his little brother, big brother at the same time. He was my teacher. Sometimes I felt I was his teacher too. We would call each other every day, honestly. Every day. Even that day when he passed, we were on the phone early in the morning together. So yeah, it was very a deep relationship until today because his spirit is still here. So yeah, it's so much thing to say, but I always say Babson is to me the greatest. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you for sharing that. What was it like dancing or training with him? Was it did he have a certain approach that you guys shared with, or what was it like?
Yeah, he's a hard worker. He's a hard worker, and he was very about the authenticity of his dance.
Yeah, the first time I saw Babson and Juggling was in, I think, Juste Debout, way early, back when it was still inside the small gymnasium. Yeah, I think maybe 2004, 2003, something like that.
In the stadium.
But, yeah, and then they were both wearing basketball uniforms, right? Yeah, and then when I saw him on his knees, I was like, oh, my knees just hurt.
That was his specialty.
Yeah.
Because he's tall, and for a tall person to go down the way he used to go, wow, people were very impressed. I was impressed. He made it look like so easy. The transition between having all those steps and then out of nowhere, jumping on the knees, like literally blowing rounds in front of some b-boys, like great b-boys. He would go after them and people would be like, oh, wow, he really did that. So I think train, again, like I said, hard worker, authentic guy, and also about being real about your roots. He used to say, I'm dancing house with an African accent. Like, I understand house dance, but I will speak, but my identity is going to be feel. Who I am, people would feel who I am, because I cannot be like everyone. You know, he also said another quote that I will never forget. He said, get inspired by everybody to look like nobody. When he said this, I was like, it clicked, because he said, look at me. I'm inspired by many, but the way I dance is only me. You know, it's only me doing it, and I like people to see it. I like people to see who I am, how I understand this dance, and how I would like the people that is learning from me to go in that direction. So that's how I understand from him.
What about, like, your time in New York. How was your time in New York? Because my first time in New York was very special, right? Because I heard so much mystery, so much like magic hype about New York. So I didn't know what to expect with going there. But going there, I was like, whoa, this is some serious stuff. Like it's like everyone's doing this. Yeah.
My first time in New York was again game changing for me. Culture shock. Yes, for sure. I was with him. Babson was like, just get ready. We're gonna go. And we went there, and I've heard names of dancers that inspired him that I was watching also on YouTube, but I never met them in flesh. Once I got there, it was my first motivation to see them. Before to talk to them, I want to see them. I want to see Marjorie. I want to see Ijo. I want to see Khalif. I want to see Tony McGregor. I want to see Sekou. I want to see them. We got to the Shelter Club. And the Shelter Club back then, it was 2 parties. One that started in around 12 that finished like at 6, and the one that started at 6 and finished at noon.
It's crazy.
We had no idea about this, but we went there as a French hour, which is at 1. We got there and we're like, are we in the right party? Is it that one? I mean, and I remember I was jet lag and people were like, which party you talk about? The dancer party, where are the dancers? Oh, they're coming at 6. We're like, at 6 when the club's closed? They're like, no, the club continue. We're like, oh, I remember I slept. I was sleeping in the sofa.
At the club?
Yep. I was like, I'm here for the dancer. I want to see them. It was around 5:30 and Babson was like, yo, wake up. And then I started to see Marjorie coming. Rawness was there too. I see Specs as well. And to me, it was like, wow, they really start the party now. When it was bright outside, but you wouldn't see it because the door, it was closed and it was all dark, but it was very morning. They all came party like it was 3 a.m. Music was pumping. And I think that moment, it's just like when you see, if you're a fan of football, you see Messi, you see Ronaldo, you see them play in front of you, but you don't see them play in a competition. You see them play like playground. They're having fun. To me, this was an eye-opener because they were dancing to songs that I was dancing to in France that I couldn't translate the lyrics, especially because my English wasn't so good. In a different way, the way they were dancing. So I understood. I was like, oh, whoa, that's how you dance to My Joy from Quentin Harris, that track. I was like, oh shit, my English gotta get better. I had to translate this because they were smooth, they were connected, they were very also spiritual, and I think I got touched by this one. I also understand the clubbing culture there too. We do have one in France, but it's very different in New York, especially the DJ. Like Timmy Regisfo was playing that day, and man, the song was just like, was crazy, and a lot of people were there vibing, singing a way that I didn't see in France before. I see people clubbing, having fun and enjoying it, but there it's just culture. It was just the culture was talking to me. So yeah, New York has a really special place in my heart for sure.
Yeah, the best way I can describe that type of experience is like it's in their blood. It's not in the training. It's in their blood.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah. So you mentioned that the club culture in France and New York is very different. Can you go more into that?
Like they do have a strong club culture in France. I'm going to talk about what I know. I'm a resident at the club called the June Club that celebrate 20 years anniversary last year.
Legendary place.
Legendary place.
Yeah, I haven't been there, but I have many mixes from that place. It's like,
and it was clubs before the June, for sure, like the Queen Club, the Rex Club, Les Bandouches, many different clubs, but I wasn't there. I was there in some clubs, but they were playing hip-hop. I'm talking about the June because June is more my generation. Greg Gauthier, which is a good friend and also an amazing DJ and producer, was the one to me, and this is my words, that kind of bring that sound, that soulful song, that deep and Afro song that you would listen in New York. He bring it at the June. So he was trying his best to keep that vibe alive and growing. So he did parties called Cheers. He did dance culture. and me going to his party called the dance culture, I would feel the dancer vibe, the clubbing vibe, and it was nice. I was just, because I was used to go to this party, seeing ciphers, seeing people, sometimes having those exchange, that I thought it was this. When I went to New York, well, it was very different. The difference was, again, the spirit was different. It's from there. You know, when I give you an example, when you do a pasta in France, it's good. You go to Italy, it's from there. You feel me? It's the same with New York. It's from there. It's the music, the dance. Everything is different. There is no comparison. I always say, once you go to New York and you feel that, and I say New York, but you go to Chicago and Atlanta, it's different, but it exists too. But since I talk about New York, it's very something unique that you feel there. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me more about like that first visit in New York. So you saw, or you went to the shelter, and then you met the dancers. Did you get to vibe with them? Did you get to talk to them, or like what happened?
Not yet. I went to Marjorie's class, Broadway Dance Center. I took her class. Class was hella difficult. Marjorie, rest in peace, one of the greatest as well. She invited me to dance with her also in a club later. This club called the CLO back then. And I also met Stretch, Link, Khalif in the following year in Sweden for Juste Debout. That was the first time. We knew about each other, but you know, even if you know about a person, doesn't mean you're going to talk directly with the person. You can be intimidated. And again, my English wasn't so good, so I was very quiet. I was watching. But then we would dance, and then the vibe was there. Yeah, I would feel the vibe. Me, the first time I danced with Khalif, he was electric, but in a good way. Our body just respond to each other. Like, he would do something, I would do something. But not to impress him, but more to exchange a conversation. So yeah, I took class with Marjorie. I think I took class with Ijo as well. I went to the club and I was very much watching. I was the observer the very first time. Like, I tried to see a lot as I could. Then when I went back home, I was definitely another person. So that first trip, meeting them, not really talking deeply or very open because we didn't know each other, but just seeing them was a very nice, let's say, first chapter with New York.
Yeah. So do you know how house dance even made it to Europe, to France? Like, what was that? Because you mentioned that Babson is second generation Wanted Posse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So however he learned and those around him, like, how did this dance make it to
okay.
Yeah.
It started by many different individuals.
Yeah.
I have to mention 5. Idi, Isham, Rabat, his brother, the brother of Idi, Didier, Régis Truchy also. A crew called Mission Impossible. This was a crew. Régis Truchy wasn't part of Mission Impossible. He was part of a crew called Ikenji with Bruce, with Rabat as well. I think back in 95, 96, I'm not really sure about the date. They went to New York, talking about ED especially, because I'm very close to ED. ED is the younger brother of Rabat. Rabat is from Trip House, and he was Mission Impossible as well.
I met Edie on one of my visits to New York.
Exactly. So he went to New York. He had some tapes from a guy called Hideki. Not Hideki. No. It's another guy I have to remember. I see his face. Tamaki, exactly, not Hideki. Hideki is another one from Japan. Tamaki is a Japanese dancer that came to France early, and he had those VHS, and also the way he was dancing that he was sharing with a lot of French dancer, and they were like, if you want to get to know them, they're in New York. So Idi and his friend Isham, they made their way to New York to learn. The first dancer that he saw was Brian Green. Funny story that he told me, imagine he's in New York, in Manhattan, he doesn't know nobody. He knows one name, Brian Green, and he's looking for a a studio called the Fazio Studio. So he's in the middle. He could be near Times Square or somewhere else, but he had no idea where's the studio. He's just looking for one name. He's walking around for hours. He's walking. He's like left, right, up, down. He doesn't know. And he see from far a Japanese guy with dreadlocks dressed in a hip hop way. It's like, let me just go ask him. We never know. And he just said to him 2 words. He said, Brian Green. And the guy's like, dancer? He's like, yeah. Dance, Brian Green. Is like, yeah, the studio is there. It's like, damn, after walking for hours, he went up to the stairs. He heard house music. He opened the door. Brian Green looked at him, was like, are you, he said, for the class? Brian Green was like, okay, just wait for me. He finished. He was teaching a private class. He finished, and then Edie got there, and this is where he took his first class, official house dance with Brian Green. So this is when they came back to France. They were going to clubs because it was hip hop dominant in France back then. But they were dance in hip hop clubs with the information they had, and then slowly going to the other clubs called the Rex Club or La Coupole in France, where these guys, Edie, Isham, Rabat, also DJ, they would dance and they would share, not by teaching directly to the dancer, but by just dancing, by doing their thing. So sometimes without you knowing, in the same place, you can dance a style. I'm looking at you, even if I don't know you, I'm copying things. It's not intentional, but I'm just watching because you're different. So I guess this is how we started. Kind of, they were the first to they bring steps that people wasn't doing. Some were wondering what is it, and some were just, oh, okay, looks cool. Some were mimicking, and slowly when the information was like, yo, it's a style that come from New York, eventually Babson, Yuxon also would go to the state and some other people to study, because they went there, but also in France, Archie came in France. I forget which year. And when he came, it was also, I'm wondering if it was the first or the first workshop where people would learn and have the knowledge about house dance. The year, I'm not sure. I'm going to say between 98 and 99. I'm not sure about this date. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned that before house music, hip hop was really strong in France, right? What was that scene like? Because over in some places over here, like a lot of people went from hip hop to house because hip hop got too violent, and too aggressive. Was that the case in French too? Or?
Same, exactly the same, same but different. You see, when the music changed, obviously the dance would change, and house was there, but it was mostly from the gays, and not everybody wanted to go to a gay club to dance house. But this is where the house music was, because in hip hop, even if you were doing house, the energy is different. The movement are back then different. So the switch was really like when they would give them the opportunity to get in those clubs. When you can get in the club, a gay club where you nobody got bothers. Like the gay, they're not bothered about you being here, the community, the gay community. You being here doing your dance and they're doing the dance. It's cool. And I'm really talking back in my time because it was people before me. They would say another story. So when I got there, it was already people, they were mixing. You see hip-hop dancer and house dancer together. From the story that I heard, of course, it was violent in some clubs, but not like in the US. Definitely not like in the US. It was more access. If you wanted to go there, you should know people that would let you go in this club because this community, it belongs to this community. So if you're part of this community, you would go in. If you're not, then they'd be like, I don't know if your intention here is to share with everybody or because we're not used to see you here. So it's a little different.
Okay. So as far as the growth of dance, whether it's hip hop or house or even breaking in Europe, how did things get so big? Because right now it seems like it's huge in Europe. Like, like what was that catalyst? Was it because Bruce did Juste Debout and then went together? Or
I was gonna say Juste Debout. When Juste Debout came, 2002, changed everything. The battle, the competition, the contests, changed everything for sure. He put names on categories, This is house, because a lot of people didn't know. Hip hop, popping, locking. And we had a lot of dancer, but now people would be like specialized. Oh, that's me. Some people would do both. I'm doing popping and house. I like this, I like that. So Juste Debout was definitely a shift and in France and a stamp on, okay, we do have the biggest dance event international that started in France, and he makes definitely the community bigger and bigger.
Yeah, so over time, would you say that your relationship to house music and house dance has changed from when you first got into it?
100%.
Yeah. Where did it start at, and where's it now?
It's, like I said, it started, I didn't like it because I didn't understand it. And through the years, I had to learn. I had also to relearn because I had some automatism that I think it's not false, but it wasn't the right direction. And today it's different. Today I live this.
Yeah, when Quicker was here, that one word that really stuck out to this whole experience that he dropped was the word sensitivity. He said house is a very, very sensitive dance.
It is.
Yeah, it takes time to develop that sensitivity for what's going on because it's so minute.
So many, and there is so many layers. You see, there is what we know, what we think, and then the reality. For example, when you go to another country, like, okay, let's say US, you see house in New York, it's different than in Chicago, different than Atlanta, but it's still house. And if you talk to people, would say house is born in Chicago. And then talk to New Yorkers, they say, it's born here. Certainly not in Europe. It's definitely from the US, but then US is big. Same with the dance. The reason why we acknowledge and we respect a lot Mop Top Dance Fusion, because you really can tell when they came out, a lot of things started happen. Doesn't mean people wasn't dancing before them. Some people were dancing for sure, and they've been saying it, and I know also some of them. But when they came, they really came with something that other. It's not like they didn't do, but that formula of giving names also, of being structured, I guess, and knowing about which direction they want to go. Knowing and not knowing, because if you would have asked them, like in 20 years, how it's going to be the way it is today, they would be like, no, we just wanted to have fun. But they did change things. So yeah, my way of seeing house from when I started and where it is today is so different.
Yeah, one of the things I hear about both the pros and cons of so many battles is it's made the culture like very structured and very organized in a good way. The other side is, some people feel like maybe it's too battle oriented and it's not enough the party vibe, not enough exchange vibe. What's been your experience with that?
You need both. You need both to it's balance. Juste Debout made house for a lot of people interested. Like they were interested about house because they were watching a battle. And then from the battle, he was doing a lot of after parties, so people would go to the after parties. But of course, if you focus only on the battle, not on the party, there is this culture thing that you're missing. Because most of the, let's say, crazy moment in house are born in the club. Even though the battle is amazing, I'm part of it. I will never spit on the battle. Battle is a game. Battle is entertainment. Battle is fun. But it's not it. Battle is just part of it, not it. It's when people don't really understand about the whole culture. It's really started in a club, and club is where you meet people from everywhere. It's where you see the one that judge you dance in a different way than when he would do a judge showcase, or even your opponent. If you take the battle in this context, with the minutes, with the judge, with the selection of the song, versus the same guy, you meet him the night in a club, is just another story. Because there's no limits. There is no such as somebody going to judge you. It's just let's go round for round. And this is where actually it gets interesting.
Yeah, when you're in a cypher, what's most important to you when you're in that moment?
Ooh. Well, when I'm in a cypher, first I want to share. I want to share energy. Cypher for me, it's an energy, and it's also you gotta know how to read those energy. Let's say we're in a cypher, you and me, and we're talking. We have that conversation. We're talking about how we want to elevate ourselves. Music help us, and then there's someone that like what we do, but doesn't really understand. But then interrupt us in our conversation. We're looking, but that interruption can maybe cost the break of the vibe. We like, oh, okay, we have to build this again. So for me, cypher is this: how you read the energy of the cypher, how you want to exchange with the people, and it should always be positive, I think. Even though sometimes cypher can also be you use it to call out someone or to have that type of exchange, but it's never always about this. You have to allow that energy to exist for everybody to enjoy it, yourself, the people you want to be part of it. And there's so many also unspoken rules in ciphers, I think.
Yeah, what are those unspoken rules? Because I feel like for certain people it's very obvious, but as you mentioned, like there's two people or maybe a group having a conversation, right? But I've been, as I'm sure you have too, in many situations where someone would just walk straight through the middle, carrying a drink, and then just stay in the middle and just look around, and everyone's like, "What's?"
Exactly. Unspoken rule is this: imagine your parents have a discussion, grown-up discussion. You might be interested, but you're not mature enough to understand. And then you just step in the conversation, you just cut the word out of your dad, and it's be like, kid, just sit down, watch. You don't have enough knowledge to participate in this conversation. So again, you see pioneers dancing, or let's say people that have that experience exchanging. I would rather watch and enjoy this conversation than, because my energy want to be part of it, I'm just going to cut the vibe. This is one. And also ego, I would say, trying to put that ego to the side when it comes to people having that exchange. It's not because you want it that you have to be part of it. You don't have to be part of it. You can be part of it just by watching it, just by cheering up, applause, or supporting. Trying to say, oh, I'm one of you guys' best. I want to show you my best moment now. Maybe it's not the right timing, you know. And a guy sometime a while ago asked me, so imagine you are dancing with, let's say, Khalif, Toyin, your brother Mamson is there, and there is this student that loves you guys, he's a fan, and he wants so much to dance with you. Is he allowed to? I said, well, I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to push him back, but I'm going to expect him to read the energy going on. He might feel welcome, but he also might feel like, ooh, they do have a certain type of conversation. I might watch. That's what I expect from people. Because same for me. I can be who I am, the level I have. If some people have a certain discussion on the dance floor and I don't belong, it's not because I am who I am that I'm going to step in. I'm just going to watch. I'm just going to step back. I'm going to look. Maybe I'm going to get invited. Like, for example, yesterday, I had a workshop. I took the class of Toyin. At the end, she had a cypher, inviting everybody. I was watching. I didn't feel like dancing, not because I didn't want to. I was a bit tired, but she invited me to. And everybody was dancing, you know, and I'm going. But I could just go round for round because I am who I am. People know who I am, right? So again, these days, try to read the cypher, try to come with the right energy, try to be open-minded, and try to put also your ego to the side.
What do you do to reach your happy place on the dance floor? Because, you know, there's nights when like someone's really feeling it, and there's other nights where like, nothing's working out, you know? Like, what do you do to kind of reach your flow state?
Music. I'm trying to be connected to the music. I try to let the music drive me to dive deep in. I try to connect everything that I know in a way of we all authentic in our own way. So when I'm looking at myself or thinking about myself on the dance floor, how I can express, how I can let myself go, I always use the music. And this is where my happy place is. When music is amazing, it sounds good, I'm losing it. My good brother Yuxan always say at 3:33 a.m., music should drive you there. At 3:33, like that time, music is going to get deep and this is where you're going to lose. And I think I got what he said. I've been to clubs where sometimes the spirit is so high that you don't even move your feet. You almost feel emotional. You're like, wow, I'm feeling amazing. And I had moments like this, yeah.
Yeah, so speaking of those moments, whether it's moments in the club or music or at battles, tell me some of your most unique or memorable times.
Ooh. I think Juste Debout 2012.
Okay, why that year? What happened that year?
Oh man, we did the final. I think it's my best experience in dance, 100%. Juste Debout is the biggest dance event. So we, on stage, me and my partner Serge versus Babson and Mamson.
What does it feel like to be on that big of a stage? Because it's like 10,000 people, right? It's a lot of people.
12,000 people. He felt like unreal. You barely see people that look small like this. But the energy is there. When the crowd feels you, it's like you got goosebumps just talking about it. That's crazy. It was crazy because we planned it. When I say plan it, we really wanted to finish this event being on stage, us four. So Juste Debout final is in March, right? And we in December 2011, going to 2012. We're sitting at Babson place and we're like, guys, there is prelims happening around Europe. So me and Mamson, we're going to do it in Spain. And you guys going to do it in Paris and the other, they're going to do it here. So if the calcul are good, you guys going to do the qualification in Paris. We should meet there. And let's see how the bracket goes, but let's see. They went in Spain, they won the qualification, they were already there. Me and Serge, we did the qualification in Paris. Boom, we got selected best 16 in Paris. And on the bracket was crazy because they put us on top and they put them last. So more the battle was going, we couldn't believe that it's going to happen. I think semi-final, we battle. I think it was Zach Swaga and ADN from Belgium, and they battle Sibo and I'm not sure, I think Ideki. Once we both won and we knew we were going to be in the final, us four, it was such a feel to know whoever gonna win, we win. It's the same crew winning. So we did the battle and I remember telling Babson, we should do a routine all together. He said, well, if it's allowed to, let's do it. And we did it. At the end, I think I finished my last round. We hug each other. Us four, we spin. And all of a sudden, I think I started the routine because I remember I wanted to do it facing the judge. The whole crowd stood up because they never saw four guys doing the same routine because we had the show. Performing this was unbelievable, unreal. And then I had this thing in my mind too. I was like, because I like the rock star when they run the jump over the crowd, I was like,
oh, crowd surfing, right?
Yeah, exactly. I did it. I was like, I gotta do it. So you see it on the video on YouTube.
You're a big guy too.
Trust me. I was like, I don't care. So I did twice. The first one, people wasn't ready, so I run. They open a little bit. I was like, oh shit. The second, I jump and you see it. So yeah, this 2012 was really definitely one of the best memory I had in that.
What does that feel like? I know it's the best memory, but what does it actually feel like to you in that moment? What does it feel like to be one on a stage with that many people and to have all those events happen? What did it personally feel like?
I think in the moment I don't realize. I wanted to be there, I'm there, but I don't realize. It's overwhelming. It's too many things happening, too much information, but it's a lot of joy. Oh, I'm happy because I look in front of me, it's the same people that I'm going to be walking with every day. My brother is there, the judges were my friends too, but not to say they make me, it was easy for them. Everything was aligned. So overwhelming for sure, joy, but also a lot of unconscious stuff. I'm not really conscious in the moment. I'm flying. I'm like, it's not real. It's unbelievable. It's I thought about this. The first Juste Debout that I entered was 2007. And so I did all of them until 2012, where we didn't win, but we did the final. So being constant, having that goal, getting there was like, I think I realized the day after, but in the moment, I'm like, whoa, yeah.
Did you have any self-doubt going like throughout all these years, and if you did, how did you deal with that voice in your head?
Self-doubt about my dance career, you mean?
Yeah, but either about your dance career or like maybe anxiety or nervousness. How did you deal with it?
Yeah, I had some moments where, because doubt for sure, it's like thoughts over thoughts. I'm close with my friends. When I say friends, crew members, we talk about this openly. Like, damn, I'm thinking about this. I want this, and they always give me that motivation. You got this. Don't forget, you got this. You got this, and do it on your own. Believe in it. And Babson is one of them. He was always saying, there's nobody that can do it better than you doing it. Not to say you're the best, but just to say the way you're doing it is the way people want to say it. So you doubt, it's part of it, but once it's action mode, go mode. Don't stop. So those sentence, those phrase from my close ones helped me a lot, yeah.
And how do you prepare for these events or battles? Is it you guys keep each other in check in a certain way, or how do you guys?
Yeah, we used to train. We used to train a lot. Not train the battle, but train our body. I don't think we train our mind because, see, I started as a b-boy, so having a b-boy mentality, like you're ready. This mode is like whoever is in front of me, I'm ready. Just like a boxing guy.
Yeah, I would have to highly agree with that. I feel like b-boys and b-girls are on another level when it comes to being ready, right?
Oh, wow.
Because, back to the whole sensitivity thing. For me, I need good music, good sound quality speakers, nice floor, maybe baby powder. but b-boy and b-girl can spend on their parking lot, it's crazy.
They're ready, like they're mentally ready. They're there. They're projecting. I think it's the projection. I project myself many times before to be in the moment of the battle. While training, sometimes I would train with my friend, but in my mind, I'm there, I'm on stage. I'm there facing people. So I'm not really dancing in front of my friend when I'm training. So we would prepare, we would do different rounds, we would freestyle, we would talk, feedback, having some feedback about how to use the music, how to put our strengths, not the power moves, but more what makes the difference when we dance. And I think it was always how we can express musically, showing our ability to show the music in our body, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I see one of the common issues that a lot of dancers struggle with is the balance between feeling it or being raw versus technique and training, right? Like, how do you balance the two?
Not easy. It's an identity thing, I think, because I'm going to take me, for example. I'm a guy that I love music, and I will always try my best to show music in my body. Sometimes it's not happening because music doesn't allow me to, and I want to. And I have an example. When I did this battle 2012 against Ijo at Summer Dance Forever, Ijo that I respect a lot, a big inspiration to me. I think it's the last round. The music I'm dancing to, he danced to it 2 years ago, I think, 2 years before that battle. I never heard that music. The first time I heard that music was when he was dancing to. But the way he was dancing to inspired me. So I didn't listen that track after that. I was like, I think I understand how his identity, his rawness, his pure him took advantage of the music. So that day when I heard the music, I was like, it inspired me back. I had the inspiration from him, and he was also facing me. And I was like, things come just like that instinctively. So sometimes you don't really train those things. It's instinct that's happening. Like you trust your instinct. When you train, you don't train your musicality. You don't train your rawness. You train some technical stuff, but in the moment, it never happened the way you train it. It's the spontaneity that take advantage. So not easy to sometimes give advice to people when they ask you this question. But I always refer to how honest you can be when it happens in a moment.
Yeah, I think that's a good way about it, like being honest, because I think dance is one of the art forms that you can't fake, no matter how much you try.
You can't
fake. But I guess not only not faking it, but embracing the honesty in that, right?
100%. You have to, because you might want to win or to impress, But if your heart, your thought is not there, it's gonna be felt. You're gonna feel it like, I tried too hard, it didn't work.
Yeah. Have you ever grappled or struggled with the need to win amongst these battles? Because some people struggle with like just dancing in a way where they're just expressing or just connecting, right? Versus being caught in the chase of, I gotta win this, I gotta win this. Like,
Oh yeah, I was in my beginnings all about this because I thought it was a way to gain respect, to be recognized, like having a lot of titles and losing, not being preselected, not being watched was like, doubt. Am I bad? People don't like it. In my beginnings, people used to compare me a lot to Babson. They're like, you look too much like him, man. You're never gonna win. Change, find your way, It was tough. Of course, I learned from him. So I had to find my way. And I'm very happy that I looked like him to find my way. Because again, one of my greatest teachers. So I think it's this, when you found out, you have to put your ego to the side. Because the question was, why do you need so much title? For what? Okay, you want to be recognized, but I think some people are recognized without winning no battle. Some people been amazing dancer without entering one battle. It was just that energy around it, because it was multiple of big battle where people would definitely say your name because you won, but the week after they wouldn't remember because there is another event happening. Yeah, it's that little ego trip that was at that moment, and that was growing inside of me, because I really think it was those titles that would give promoters the fact that, he win so many battles, let me book him to have a workshop. But today is different, because again, you can win all these battles, but doesn't mean you're a great teacher. You can be that great one, but doesn't mean in front of the people that never win battle, you're going to be good too. So yeah, it's just trying to put your ego sometime to the side and not think about those titles are going to change something in your journey.
Yeah, when you said branch out from Babson earlier, so what are some things that you did to branch out from looking like him and finding more of yourself?
I think is really trusting my way of being. When I say being, when you learn from a person that want the best from you, you don't really already want to change things. You want to do it the right way. And thinking the right way back then for me was, I got to do exactly as he said. But he was giving me advice not to do it. So I had to understand that my difference is my background. My background is a b-boy. It's that energy that I have that stimulate me in the moment. Like I can go from 0 to 100. Sometimes I can be grounded. Sometimes I have that little aggressive part. And then I was like, but if this is part of me, why I shouldn't put it more? So I started to do it more and more, and trusting and believing that I'm different and I got it. And eventually it came slowly with the time.
Tell me about Stepperz and Wanted Posse, right? So you're part of both crews. Is that common to be part of both crews? And then are the two crews a different experience or different mission, different goals?
Different experience. Yeah. Wanted is 30 years now, since it exists. 30 years, which is crazy. I'm not part of it since 30 years. I'm part of it since 13 years. Stepperz is the creation of Babson and Juggling, which is today, I think, 14 years since Stepperz exists. Wanted is the first French crew that won Battle of the Year in 2001. Wanted influenced the world. When Wanted came out in 2001 on stage, they were the first crew to mix in the b-boy scene, top style. When I say top style, hip-hop and house. Before that, it was no crew that was doing it. So they really changed the game. 100%. If you look at the show, you see Babson and Juggling doing house, but you see hip-hop as well, breaking, which is hip-hop too. And it's a very different approach. Stepperz was really a crew focused on footwork. Footworkers like house, Toprock, what we call in France hyper, which is part of hip-hop. And also floor work as well, because Malcolm is part of it, and some of our crew, they're doing also floor moves. So it's different crews, same entity for sure, same DNA, but different, because Stepperz was focused on house, and Wanted is hip-hop and house.
Yeah. What about the long-term vision or the goals of either cruise? What's the, like say in 20, 30 years, what would you have hoped to achieve within the cruise?
First, I'm so grateful. It's two big house, Wanted and Zero Stepperz. Being part of it with the greatest dancers, like in terms of what we say legends, they all of them legend to me. Deadson, B-Boy Jr., Yukeson, Babyson, Mamson, all of them, they're just like, they inspire the whole world. And they won competition. They did show on like TV commercial. They did also shows in, let's say, battle or theater. So I think winning battle, being part of this for me was a big achievement because it was a goal to be part of it, to be with them. Once I get with them, going everywhere around the world, like traveling to places I could never imagine was just a blessing to me. It was very, like, I thought I wanted to do it, but when it was happening, I was like, yeah, man, I'm part of this beautiful family. So I don't know if I answered to your question, but the achievement was really seeing myself as a young kid, imagining to be with them, being with them and traveling the world, sharing the legacy of Wanted that is continuing and Zero Stepper today and hopefully more years.
The other part of my question was what are your goals for the future going forward? The future goals of the crew.
Yeah, it's having new generations.
Yeah.
Having new generation that's going to carry the value of the crew, that is going to, that believe in how Wanted can be in the future. See, if you look at me, I'm the new generation comparing to Babson and Yukeson. So same, I'm hoping that, and it's happening. A new generation gonna take it, and they're gonna have more years with the name.
Yeah, what's the initiation process like? Is it like a brotherhood? Is it a skill-based thing? Or
100%, it's a brotherhood. It's that energy that you have before the dance. Yeah, we go to eat together. We do stuff that you do with friends before you go on the dance floor. It's not because of the level. I was walking with Wanted before to be part of the crew, even though I wanted to, but I think the spirit was there. They knew I was one of them because when we were hanging out, having just a dinner or just a fun time outside of the dance world, this was the moment where we knew we had something. So it's the same process. It's never because you're an amazing dancer that you're going to be part of it. It's part of it, for sure. You got to be doing your thing, but we believe more in that brotherhood.
Would you say that there's a lot of opportunities in Europe? Because when Stretch was on here, he mentioned that in Europe, it's not as easy to get a entertainment gig because a lot of the artists or celebrities it's in LA, so or New York, right? So it's easier for them to get like a commercial artist here. While in Europe, I guess the way to get work is entering battles, winning battles, and then people coming to your classes. So that's like a very established route. So in your experience, what are some of the opportunities to be an artist in Europe?
I wouldn't say it's easy. Because you gotta have connection. You gotta also know how it works. We do have some system and help from government for sure. Different than, for example, they don't have in the US. We have a thing called intermittent du spectacle. How can I say this in English? Intermittent du spectacle. Let's say you have a contract in this musical, right? You have a contract in this musical for a good 6 months, a certain amount of hour you're having by performing, right? And all these hours are on papers. You have to have a certain amount of hours to go to this office, like around 500 hours to fill in. And then because of this, you can have 3 months, if I'm not mistaken, where you're going to get money from the government until you find another job. And those 3 months, they give you what we call SMIC, like 1,500 euro per month. So only this thing give a certain opportunity, for the artist. And of course, teaching-wise, battle, theater. There is a lot of opportunity, but if you don't have what it takes, I don't think you would have it. Not everybody have a living by dancing in France. There's a lot of things happening, but not every dancer live by dancing. I don't think so.
Does that mean that there's a day job and then they dance on the off hours?
It's happening a lot. People been working in McDonald's or other jobs, and then later they have to dance. Because let's say you're a young kid that is 20, and then you have battle in the weekend, but you can live by money price. You don't teach, and if you teach, you got to build your name. You want to be booked to an event in the weekend, same, you got to build your name. So all of this doesn't come out of nowhere. You got to build. So there is opportunity, but before to get this opportunity, you got to work for sure.
Yeah. So like, what are some things that's really worked out for you as far as surviving as an artist? Because you're a dancer, obviously, but you also DJ as well. So
yeah.
Is DJing an integral part of being able to live off this lifestyle?
Oh, 100%. I'm not only a DJ. I also organize events. I'm also I advise some brands with who I work to book some dancer for the show. Like I'm in the umbrella of this culture. I'm trying not to do just dance. DJing, of course, I think DJing and producing music too, because I produce music too now, help to grow in this. I think I was also lucky in my beginnings. My surroundings were very good. I had the connection of Babson and Yuxon that had already built a certain, let's say, circle with some people that knew they could have me teaching. They could trust because they knew I was one of them. So it was not so difficult for me. It was, but not as somebody that didn't have no mentor.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing from you is, if you want to make it in the industry or the culture, however you want to see it, is being prepared to take on all of the roles and all the tasks. And so say, for example, if you want to dance, you got to be able to maybe do events. You got to be able to host and maybe enter events too. So it's not just you want to dance and that's it.
No, it's much more. I think, again, even I'm looking at B-boys. Like, I'm wondering sometimes how B-boy can live. Not talking the one that dancing for the big brands, but the one that just doing battle. Because I don't see many B-boys teaching workshops every weekend. It's either you judge or you won, but I don't see, but how can a B-boy have a life, like live by breaking? If, let's say, you're in your 20s, of course you got to have another job. Of course you got to find way to make money, to win. Because if you don't win, then imagine you're investing on traveling again to another battle and this and that. So for sure you have to have other things, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder that too. I also wonder how B-boys can maintain their bodies. Like when I don't dance for 2 weeks, I feel it, much less doing all these crazy acrobatic stuff.
Oh, 100%. I would say they have to eat healthy, drink a lot of water, stretch if they can.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have a lot of respect for many of them. Like, many of them inspired me. I'm like, wow, guys. Flowmaster, for example. Flowmaster have a certain way of living that I love. And he's not just breaking, because he's also a locker. He's a dancer, but the way he take care of his body, yeah, that's how I would definitely advise people to have some of Flowmaster work. Shout out to Flowmaster. I love this guy, man.
Yeah, I haven't, I don't know Flowmaster well, but I know some of his training methods. I've seen him like wear a mask where he restricts his breathing to then train dancing, and he's really about it.
He's really about it. And he take it seriously, because again, he was young like everybody, and then he turned a certain age, and to maintain and to be consistent, yeah, you got to take care of it. You got to take care of your body and how you eat, and it's that all energy. So yeah, it's really an inspiration.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on where the culture in Europe and France is headed? Do you feel like it's headed towards a good direction, or is it something that should be taken away or added in, or how do you feel about it?
I think it's going in a good direction. It's always circles, we start somewhere, we're going into different phase, become a little trend, and then he always come back to where he started. So yeah, it's going in a good direction. We have a lot of events, a new generation coming. And obviously, social media also sometimes take advantage, I would say, because you would see everything through social media until you're there to see it how it is, because social media is made to make things look amazing, look crazy. And from your phone or from your laptop, you're like, yo, a lot of things happening. But then when you're there, it's a little different. There is some places where people still need to learn how the culture is. They still need to invite some of the original people for them to continue what they started. So it's going good. I'm not saying it's going bad, but it's just, sometime period to period where people would lose their direction because of trends or because of less of knowledge. But in general, I'm positive.
Is there a lot of resources to learn when you're in France? Is there a lot of classes and teachers really available?
Yeah. We have a lot of schools, Juste Debout School. We have LAX Studio. We have Studio Emergy, and some independent also. People open the studios and they rent it and they do workshops. So there's a lot of opportunities for people to learn from great dancer in France.
Yeah, the next part, I don't know the specifics, but I get a general vibe that at times there can be not everybody, but at times there can be maybe a conflict between New York and Europe, maybe like a different opinions on who's doing what or who can claim what. Like what are your thoughts on that?
It's funny because we talked about this earlier. I remember back in I think 2010, it was a meeting in France at the Juste Debout School between US and France, like US and France, where the beef started and why do we have this. I was there at that meeting. In the table, it was Stretch, Wiggles, Shannon Mabra, Tony McGregor. And on the other side, it was Bruce, Didier, like French, definitely. And Marjorie was on Skype, I think, linked to. Misunderstanding sometimes, barrier language, I think. Trying to recognize each other, I would say sometimes. And I'm talking about today time, not back in the daytime, like not 12 years ago. Today, it's thank you to this meeting that happened for a lot of things has been said in a personal level, but it's also open level. I really want to keep with me the fact that without New Yorkers, and this is really from my own word, a lot of things wouldn't happen. And a lot of French agree with this. It's just that at some time, European, especially French, I think they wanted to hear from some New Yorkers a certain recognition on, yeah, guys, it might come from us, but you guys took it somewhere else, and we like this. And it was not. That's why sometimes it was a little conflict. But today, for sure, we have to be together. We have to help each other. We have to recognize one another, not to just put an ego, but just because it's factual, is the way it is. Without special New Yorkers, some dancers, a lot of things wouldn't happen. And it's okay to recognize it. It's normal to recognize it because that's how things are. It shouldn't be different. You should embrace it. You should be proud of it. And again, the language barrier, the misunderstanding, the interpretation of stuff, the not talking with each other face to face, make it difficult sometimes because people would be based on, damn, he votes against me because I'm French. Oh, he doesn't like how I do because I teach more classes than him. All that type of thing. When I think today is different for sure because we talk through it and we can definitely do things together.
Yeah, without me knowing the specifics or being involved, I'm reading the analogy that it's sort of like within a family dynamic where, there's the kids, right? And the parents raise the kids, but the kids grow up to a certain point where like, hey, I want to do my thing now. I'm old enough.
Exactly. You can do your thing. And I think your parents want you to do your thing, but you want to have the the knowledge, that knowledge. You cannot just say you get there on your own. Some people would say, I didn't need you, I'm there. Oh, come on.
Yeah, I think one of the maybe key points for the misunderstanding, whether it's in that instance or other instances, is it seems like a lot of the knowledge is not codified anywhere, or even just how one dancer may judge compared to the next. I think it's very mysterious, right?
It is mysterious.
Yes, it's very mysterious, and then so I think without having that core curriculum, because say when you go into like a ballet class, it's not a mysterious experience, right? It's very defined.
It's very defined. It's clear, so clear.
Yeah.
You're doing it. Dégagé, retiré, plié. It's clear. Yeah. And hip hop is sometimes emotional, like you say, cricket, sensitive too. There is a lot of things. It's a lot of similarities. Let's say not just also in between Europe and France, can be just in the States. People would say, yeah, Brooklyn they do this, in the Bronx they do different. This is more Latin. No, this is more Black American. This is more this. So I'm like, okay. And I got it. Sometimes it can be sensitive because it touches people's story. But it's all one story at the end, if I think about it.
Yeah, even in my experience, I've been doing house for like at least over 15 years.
Yeah.
But even so, there's layers to the dance that's like it gets deeper and deeper. And also I think for house is in my opinion, one of the more difficult styles to understand. Like, you can see two house dancers, but they look completely different, right?
Completely different.
Yeah.
But I think you can also see the foundation of it. House dance has its own foundation, for sure. I think so. No, it's not that I think so. I know so. There is a house dance foundation, and they might look different due to the morphology and the feel, but the information itself, if you're a house dancer and you're doing house dance, yeah, we're going to see the house dance foundation that everybody are doing in their dance. Those steps that you see, pas de bourrée, loose legs, shuffle, sidewalk, farmer, crosswalk, train, all of this, and of course it's then the language, how you see English. Again, English is not my language. I speak French, but then I learn English, and the way I speak English is different than yours. For example, I can hear your Vietnamese accent, you can hear my French accent, but we do speak English, we do understand each other. So it's the same with house. You learn the language, and when you dance it, we need to see, of course, how the music touches you, because that's the reason why house it is what it is, the music, and then how the language that you learn become yours, and then you just speak.
Yeah, so with how long you've been in the culture in the past 20, 30 years, right?
Yeah. 20, let's say 2000, I started dancing in 98.
Yeah.
But I started house in 2003. So, yeah, 20, I would say, 21 years now.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
What are your learning lessons since during that time period? Do you have any regrets, or is there anything you would do differently, or you wish you did?
No. I think everything come at the right moment, the right time. There's no regrets. I'm just very happy and blessed. I'm very lucky, honestly, when I'm looking at my journey, and I'm still going. Look, I'm here, like doing a podcast. You call me. It could have been somebody else. I'm like, yo, it's still going. So no, I have no regrets. I'm very happy, very lucky, very grateful to be part of it. And again, if I think about it, I'm learning a culture that is not mine. No, house is not my culture. At first, I didn't like it. I had to learn, and I felt like welcome. I didn't feel like rejected. And that's why it's very special to me, to the way I carry it and the way I want to spread it. I'm spreading it just like I would like people to spread a culture that is not theirs. If you come to my house, it's a Senegalese house. We have a certain way to do. You learn it, and when you're gonna share it, you're gonna share it the way you receive it. I didn't receive it with hate. I didn't receive it with battle. I receive it with a lot of love. So of course, I have to be grateful and not regret anything that I had since I started.
Yeah, very well said. I'm glad the opportunities are still coming your way.
Yeah.
Speaking of opportunities, let's talk about music, right? In particular, Afrohouse. So, not sure if you are familiar, but Black Coffee sold out Madison Square Garden.
Oh yeah, Black Coffee
crazy.
is the man. I love this man. I love this man. First time I met Black Coffee was at the June Club back then. I didn't know honestly about him. I've heard, but then when I saw him and I heard him play, felt in love. Followed the journey of the man. He's an inspiration, honestly. I went to few shows, and me as a dancer first, dancing to his music, and also DJ, was definitely, just like dance, when I started dancing, I wanted to meet Marjorie, Khalif, and then same with him. When I get very much in touch with the music, I wanted to meet those people. I wanted to talk to them, not in a fun way, but in most respectful and inspiring way. So I got to open for him twice, once in south of France and one in Paris. I went also in South Africa to one of his shows. Another one in Paris. Is very cool. He's very accessible, which is crazy because he's very famous, like a superstar. And I remember him telling me, man, I wish you all the best in this new journey you're taking. Like, just this was already like a win. Afrohouse, let's say, he's in South Africa a major figure when it comes to this music, and not just South Africa. South Africa, of course, is from there around the world, but there, you talk about the man. Yep.
Yeah, one of my other guests was putting into perspective of like how big Black Coffee is, right? And it's amazing that he comes from a certain culture, because I typically associate popular music as a completely different sound. So to see a house DJ sell out Madison Square Garden,
come on,
it's crazy.
I think nobody did it. He's the first.
Yeah,
he's the very first.
Yeah, and then someone else was saying that how successful Black Coffee is not only is he able to feed his family, but there's entire families depending on him in order to feed their families, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't see the result, I see the journey to get there. The result, of course, is Madison Square Garden, which is amazing, but think about the story of the man when he started, his dream, like everything that he wanted to build, to do. With everything that goes, the ups and downs, the fact to be famous, and then the hate, maybe the doubt, and then to get there. The whole journey itself is very inspiring. So to me, he shows by doing this that it is possible. He said a sentence, say, trust your dopeness. I like this, not to say when you dope, you know you're crazy, but there is this trust that you gotta have when it's something that you want to build or get, that if you trust it, one day or another it's going to happen. So yeah, man.
Yeah, there's this idea of what I would call the reality ceiling, right? Or the dream ceiling. So depending on like your worldviews or your personal beliefs or your life experiences, some people's ceilings is a lot higher than others, and some people have no ceilings, right?
Exactly.
So whether it's the experience you had at Juste Debout in 2012, or seeing Black Coffee rise to his stage right now, would you say that it's changed or altered your reality ceiling? Like, what's your biggest dream?
Like today, you mean, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, that's the thing. I give you my reality about this. 2020 was the year of Babson passed, right? Not to say that I stopped dreaming, but I had so many things before that I was like, we wanted to do this, do that, do this, do that, do that. We're gonna do this, and then time stopped when he passed. And reality check means you can dream, you can project, you want to, and it's automatic. But then when time stops, you just sit down and you realize that it can be you tomorrow. So of course I keep dreaming, of course I keep pushing, of course, but it's a little different since my first motivation that with who I wanted to do more and more and more have transitioned. I'm trying to be more realistic than just dreaming, because I keep dreaming, but in a different way. I'm more realistic again about how life can be tomorrow from my dream. Let's say I'm dreaming of doing a show where it's going to be 16,000 people. I know it's not going to happen tomorrow, but tomorrow I know I want to wake up and I want to feel good. It started here. So I used to write a lot of stuff. I do it, but not on stuff I want to get. More on stuff I want to get tomorrow. And this is already one step through how I change this mentality of dreaming.
Yeah, I think that's totally valid. A lot of corporations do that actually. They have what's called key performance metrics, right? So their idea is like, if you can't measure it, then you're not doing it. So you gotta be able to measure what it is that you want to achieve, whether it's what can I do tomorrow, and can tomorrow be replicated over a week, over a month, over a year.
Right. Exactly. No, I'm again, sometimes I don't even like to say, because people would say, okay, what's for the next 10 years? I'm like, what if I'm not making it? Right. I used to say, yeah, in 10 years, I want to do this, I want to do that, I will, but then you're like, yeah, first, I love to be here tomorrow. I love to be continuing like I start today, and tomorrow I would like to continue. But yeah.
What's been your experience with doing so many different things, right? Whether it's traveling, teaching, or event organizing, or DJing, producing music. Do you ever feel like you're losing one skill for another, or do you feel like it's all in harmony?
Yeah, it's all in harmony. I need all of them, because it's part of how I like to move in this culture. Like I can host an event, I can DJ at an event, I can judge a battle, I can dance in the battle, I can teach a class, I can help people to structure the thing. It's all in one. Like you have that multitask thing, and I don't think I should do less this and that, because it helps me to be more creative all the time, and my spirit is always uplift from one thing to another, because I learn in everything, and everything have different feelings. Playing in a party is different than hosting a dance event. Teaching a class is different than judging a battle, but all have different sensation that is all under this umbrella.
What's the biggest event you ever DJed, and what did it feel like?
I would say opening for Black Coffee, 100%.
How recent was that? How long ago was that?
The year, you mean?
Yeah.
It was 2 years ago.
Oh, wow, so it's pretty recent.
Yeah, recent. It was opening in front of 5,000 people.
Yeah, what did it feel like?
Oh, man. It was stressful in the beginning, to be honest. But amazing. Amazing because, again, I love music, and I like to share exactly the type of music that would move people. And again, it was something that I thought it could be possible, but then while in the moment, it reminds me of this Juste Debout 2012. When you ask me about how it felt in the moment, overwhelming. Like, I'm like, it's happening, it's now, wow. But I'm living it at the same time. I'm not thinking, I'm just, see, because when you're playing in front of so many people, the thing you want is people to have a good time. But to have a good time, I have to have a good time. So they're going to feel it. So I was in the cloud, man. Yes.
Yeah, so the times that I've been at an event when there's thousands of people in the crowd, right? And the DJ setup is maybe up on a pedestal and it's kind of far removed from the crowd, right? Yeah. So in that instance, I know crowd reading or audience reading is a big part of DJing, right?
Yeah.
So like when you're so far and there's so many people, how do you read the crowd in that situation?
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult because you can't please everybody. Not everybody can feel your vibe, but you have to be sure of your sound. You know when something sounds good. You know when something sounds like people are going to make a stinky face. You know when something sounds like people are going to put the fist up there. You know when a sound is a little deeper, like it's going to get people emotional. Then it's going to depend how you're going to blend it. In some events, it's made for people to be crowded and to just share that big energy. And some very more intimate, you're going to see more people dancing on the dance floor. So for me, this is where the work of DJ is, knowing how to read the crowd and adapting your tracks. The choice of your tracks, looking at who you have in front of you.
How did you get that opportunity, that gig? And then were you given any directions or did you have creative freedom opening for Black Coffee?
I'm working with a manager. So my manager, shout out to Mariam. Hey, she's doing the work, you know. She's looking at festival clubs where they would put me in a lineup that have sense and they would also be attracted by my vibe. So I didn't have to look. So she's like doing the work, and it's pretty nice to work with a person that know where you belong, where you fit exactly and people would be welcome. Because I've heard story from DJs where they've been playing places where some people were complaining. They're like, can he play that type of music? Can he do this? Because that crowd, we don't like really what he play now. I'm like, but yo, what is he doing here? The booker should have known that's his type of song. So I'm glad that the team with who I work, they're doing amazing work. They know where to put me, where I belong, and where the people are going to be happy with my music.
Yeah, what about creative freedom when you open for Black Coffee? Were you given any instructions, or you had the freedom to open however?
Freedom. I like this. People be like, yo, please, we want to enter into your world and let us just swim with you, you know. It was never such a thing, do this, do that. And I think for a DJ is best if you it's just like a dancer. Imagine I'm dancing and they restrict me. They're like, but you dance only with 2 moves. You're not doing other thing. I'm like, but that's not how I dance. Same with music. And this was very, very nice for me because I wasn't sure. I was like, maybe I should do what they listen and what they would like to listen. They're like, they would do exactly you. So please be you. And this was amazing.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Giles Peterson?
I've heard the name, but no.
Oh, so definitely got to check him out. He has this event in France, actually. This is one of my top events I always wanted to go. It's called the Worldwide Festival. Yeah, it happens in France in summer every year. You should definitely check it out. It's a lot. I would call it, in my opinion, a music lovers event.
Okay.
Yeah, because you know how some events are more party oriented or more like different experience, right? And the music's kind of secondary. But at this event, in my opinion, it's the music is very primary. It has a lot of very top DJs like Theo Paris, Geology, and so forth.
Nice.
Geology, Left Toe, you know.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
where in France?
I don't know where exactly it is in France. I just know it's in France every year. But
okay.
You gotta check it out.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta check it out. Maybe put thoughts that one day you can spin there too.
You send me the link. I check it out.
Yeah. How do you stay inspired nowadays? Because I think inspiration can be a gift, right? And when you have it, it's really good to use the energy, but it can also be scary when that inspiration has gone. So how do you stay inspired?
I'm watching the kids. I love watching the kids dancing, either dancing or how they react when they listen to music. I'm open-minded to other stuff that is nothing around what I do. I like to talk to people, not just dancers, like musicians, like sometimes people that make different visuals. And also, I'm listening to a lot of music, not just house music. I listen to hip-hop, I listen to jazz sometimes, I listen to Senegalese music, and that's how I like to keep my inspiration going. And sometimes I like also being on my side. Like silent moment, letting my thought go here and there. And yeah, these are some stuff that I like to have around me to get my inspiration going.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, for my first introduction to your musical taste was in Mikasa. I was very impressed.
Ooh, yeah, Mikasa, what an event. Shout out to Julius again. Julius gave me the opportunity to play there. I love the energy of Mikasa. I love the spirit of it, the people. I love what he's doing. And when I told him that, because he knew me as a dancer, the first year I was there to teach. And he was like, yo, you playing? I'm like, yeah, man, I like to push. He gave me the opportunity to play at Huru Africa, Adam Gibbons' party. It was amazing. DJ Ala was there. DJ Peace, also from Chicago, was there. And I opened that day. It was amazing. The vibe of Mikasa was crazy. And the last one, I played there also with the Co-Flow. We had the back-to-back together. Man, we had such a good time. It was amazing.
Yeah, I love Co-Flow. He's grown to one of my favorite DJs for sure, and producers too.
He's amazing. He's really, and you see, he's a dancer. So Co-Flow have exactly what I like when it comes to this combination of this full artist. He's not just the dancer, the producer, the DJ. He have a vision, a clear vision, and I like how it sounds, how it look, and how he like people to receive it. Either you like it or no, doesn't matter, but he put it out there for people to enjoy. He really make music to people dance, and yeah, man, Co-Flow is the one.
Let's talk about some events that you either did a judge showcase for, right? Or some events that you actually were the judge yourself. So before we get into that, what are some things that you look for when judging? Like what's your rule book?
First thing is I'm sitting in the chair. Let's say I'm here in the battle, watching a battle. You mean prelims or the battle itself?
Either, both.
Okay, prelims. So I'm here. I have the paper. The song is going, and the dancer have to do a showcase, 40 to a minute, right? The first thing that I'm looking is how sensitive the dancer is with the music. That's the first thing that I'm looking. I'm not looking at the scale. And I'm really trying to pay attention on how this person talk. It's like, imagine I'm here to get this job, and we have this talk. If I'm not sure, if I'm looking down, if I speak too fast, you'll be like, yeah, cool. You might want to have that job, but you might not be ready yet. So work more. Same with the dance. Some people, because they're stressed, they dance very fast. Or because they can't hear the music properly, they dance offbeat. And we don't really see, they might be technical, so they do a lot of movement on the floor, they jump, but nothing is connected to the song. It's like they really look down, they're not confident. So yeah, I'm looking at the music, I see how you're using the space, how you're sharing yourself in the moment, and how you want that. Like you want to get picked. So that energy, like, yo, I'm here for this. I want it. Like, I'm not giving you any choice. Today, I want to be part of this lineup. So I'll show you that I know how to dance to the music. I'll show you that I have fun. I'll show you that I have those skills. Not too much, but just enough to let you know that more rounds, you're going to see more from me. And yeah, that's mostly what I watch, yeah.
How important, if at all, are battle tactics for you? Like some people are like, yeah, they don't like it when a contestant dances towards a judge and not at each other. And other people are like, you know what, just keep the peace, don't get too violent. Whereas other people, one was like, yeah, this is a battle, this is from the streets, so we're gonna get real aggressive. Like,
It really depends on you, man. Me, a battle, it's a battle. What's a battle? A battle to me, it's a competition. Yeah, you're competing. Then it depends how you're competing against. Like, what is your definition of a competition? Some people say competition for me is a fight. Some people say it's a fight, me not against you, but against me. Okay, for me it's a show. Okay, but it's a competition where people have to judge. They have to say you are the winner, you won. But it doesn't mean you're the best dancer, but you won in this moment. The behavior, yes, you have to be respectful for sure. Respect have to be the first line in the battle. Like, let's respect each other. It's not boxing. Even if boxing, they respect each other, but we don't throw punch on each other. We throw moves, we throw grooves, music, different tricks, I guess, but it should never be physical. It should never be at the point where we want to fight. I don't think so. When we get there, we lose the meaning of the battle. In the dance, I think. I see myself sometime, back then, because I changed too, being in certain aggressive way due to my background, the b-boy background, but I didn't like how I dance. Because I think I wanted to impress, trying to go mentally in the head of my opponent for him to doubt maybe. But at the end, if I might dance, because it's dance, it's well enough, then I don't need to do that. So it really depends how you are and you want to do this in the moment. To me, the best advice is just stay yourself. Don't try to impress whoever. Do your thing by how you feel, and whatever the judge is going to vote for you or not, as long as you felt like this, what come after, yeah, that's how you felt.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. So I would like to pull up some videos and do some commentaries, and maybe you can do a play-by-play on either what you're feeling, or if you're judging that instance, maybe what you're looking for, or how you see things. Maybe you can talk about like how you approach an open styles judging versus like a house judging. Do you approach it the same way?
Different. Very different. It's open style, so it's different style in one particular context, 7 to Smoke. And I have to do it, I have to judge different because there is style that I don't practice, but I know the dance. I'm judging the dance. So I'm not a popper, I'm not a locker, I'm not doing whacking, but I know what is dance. I know what is dancing to the music. I also can read the form, the technical form of a dancer. I can see the skill, the level of a skill. I have a high level in dance, not with no pretension, but I've been doing this dance for a long time, so I know what it is to have a certain level because I've been practicing this dance. So it's the same. I can recognize a person that have practiced a lot of years. Just like when you do an art for a very long time, you may be not a master on the other art, but you recognize, yep, this person has been training a lot. So that's when I'm sitting in this chair judging an all-star, this is how I can definitely see things, but not just the house dancer, but the dancer.
What are the elements of a good crew routine or combination? Because you mentioned all the things that just now, because I've seen other routines where it's really just two people doing the same movements, right? And then other routines where it's like the story being told, someone's being thrown. And stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what are elements of a good? Yeah.
I would say again the creativity, the creative part, like the story you're gonna tell while doing it. Is it just a routine, a choreography, or it's more like you have a story that start, a crazy visual, and an end? And I would say try the authenticity of it, like how original, how unique the combo look like while you're creating it. That's why I, to me, wanted definitely if sometime you have some clips or you put it, you would see some of the strongest combination I ever saw in my life, really. Like a combination where you see Junior doing things on his hands and two people doing it on the knees. And then they change level, and then he's going to do the flag, and somebody do a flip on top of it. Now, I mean, yeah, man.
Yeah. To our listeners watching, we just did a dance commentary section with Kapela narrating. It's probably going to be broken down into different segments and other clips, so make sure you check those out. Kapela, what are some fun facts and achievements you've had over the years?
Okay, I did ballet.
Oh, you did ballet? Okay.
Okay, I did ballet. I did ballet in a dance school in Paris. Yeah. So I was wearing... Oh, okay, funny here. I had to wear those legging, I don't know if you call it, but then under, you had to wear what they call, like gen, which is a string. I don't know if you say this in English, string. Strings, you had to wear the strings. Me wearing string was never going to happen. But I almost got fired from the school because they were like, this is going to protect your parts. If you do ballet, you have to wear this. I was like, there's no way I'm wearing this. I'm wearing your legging already. What else? Like, this is the rule. And I did wear it, but not under my skin. I put my boxer and I put this on top and I put the legging. This was hella funny. My teacher was like, what is this? This looks so bad. Like, really, I'm glad there's no picture, because if it was picture of this, my career would be ruined, really, because it's horrible. So, yeah, I did ballet, yeah.
How long did you do ballet for? What drew you to ballet?
3 years, because it was an education where we learn how to do ballet, jazz, contemporary, theater, singing. And for 3 years.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's definitely a fun fact.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine me like at the bar every morning going,
You must have been like a lot taller than everyone else too, right?
Trust me, like, it was funny. Let me tell you another funny story. They have in this ballet class, they do this movement called dégagé, right? Dégagé, where your legs go like this. And in my language, where I'm from, dégagé means get out, leave. Me and few other friends, right? So it's the first time that I hear. I have no clue. I never took a ballet class. I think it's the first or second class. So we're there at the bar, taking the instruction from the teacher. And the teacher say, he meant it. He say, when, it's dégagé, right? But for us, he meant leave. We left the class. The teacher was like, he was looking at us like, where are you guys going? Well, you say leave. Say, no, it's the name of the step called dégagé. We're like, oh, okay. We felt so stupid. Everybody looked at us like, okay, guys. A little awkward moment here.
Yeah, that's really cool. What are some things that you kind of taken on from ballet? Like did they give you more lines?
Yeah, for sure. Not just line, but also posture. Also for the spin. And that dedication, I knew I was never going to be a ballet dancer, but I knew that I wanted to understand why it's so hard to do those. To me, it was simple. Like, you get on your toes, you go down, but it wasn't so simple. In the beginning, I was like, but this is simple. Like, nope. Like, my first year was the hardest because I couldn't understand really the music, the arm, the whole concept of it. The second year, I liked it. And the last year was like, okay, I have a lot of respect. To me, ballet is as hard as popping, because popping is so hard. It's like, you see in popping, they like contract your muscle but relax. Ballet is the same. You got to be tense but very relaxed. And I think that kind of taught me one thing in this dedication on when you want to work and get something that is not your style primarily, but while you learn it, you can connect and put it in your own.
Yeah, one thing I noticed about thinking if something's easy or not is usually when someone's really good, they make it look easy. So because they're a master at what they do, they make it look easy. So we think, oh yeah, I can do that. But when you try, it's like, oh, maybe not.
Exactly, it's this. It looks so easy. When you're looking, you're like, yeah, port de bras, couronne. They're like, wow, I can do it. And then once they start to teach you how to do it very like the way they do, it's not easy. I had cramps on my toes. I was like, where is this coming from? Because you got to point your toes and flex all the time. I use my feet in a different way. And now they taught me how to use my feet in that way, yeah, which was very, very crazy.
Yeah, I had that experience a lot in Brian Green's workshops. Just he's like, oh yeah, move your neck this way, and then while you move your neck, move your hips this way, and then be on beat, and then be on your toes. And he's like, you got it?
Yeah, that's again another genius, another great dancer. Not many can do what he's doing. Like knowing his body, but not just knowing his body, being aware on how we can share it to people to understand his concept of having the eye head on the neck, the chest is the snare, the legs moving another direction and another way. So yeah, man, is one of the greats for sure.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. How can people best support you?
Support me? Oh wow. I mean, I never ask for people to support me. If they're doing it, it's because they want it. I just put it out there. They're watching, so I'm on social media, and I'm going. And I don't like to say it to people, do this, do that. If they feel it, they're gonna do it. If don't, then it's okay. I just put it there. I'm doing it for the culture. I'm doing it I'm giving it back, kind of what this culture is being given to me. So I'm on social media. I'm on, IG, Facebook, YouTube.
Yeah. Any shout outs you'd like to mention?
Oh, shout out to all of my teachers, starting with Babson, rest in peace. Shout out to my crew. Shout out to my family, my real family. Shout out to everybody that investing and pushing this culture. Shout out to the new generation as well. And shout out to you for doing this. Shout out to you for doing this. Thank you for making this happen for me and for many. And yeah.
Yeah, well said. And final closing thoughts for our listeners out there. What would you like to close out with? People
often ask me, how would you like to be remembered? What would be your last word? It's never a last word until it's your last word. When I say until it's your last word, I think you always have something to say when you love something, especially dance or music. It doesn't need to be with words. It can be with stuff that you doing, and people, they're going to do it. They're going to say it for you. I love what I do so much. I invest a lot of time. I dedicate my life to this, and I never take things for granted. I learn. I keep learning. I'm open-minded. And I am for giving it back, as sacred as it is. It's very precious to me and to many. And I would love it to continue that way. So I embrace and I thank everybody that inspired me. And I would love the kids, let's say the generation that is continue to be inspired to do it. Every book has the first and last page, and I don't think the book that I open is finished. And I would love people to keep writing as I do. And yeah, remember how you felt when we met, how you feel when we are here. And yeah, keep creating, keep pushing, and yeah, love what you do.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on the show, Kapela. Really learned a lot from you today, and hopefully you come back in the future.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me.